Welcome, welcome, welcome to Girl Put Me On with your girl Lisa and Mimi.
Hello, hello, hello. On tonight, we have our girl, Mesha Pearl, with Mesha's Kitchen on tonight. So we will introduce her and bring her on right after this. So stay tuned, like, share, tag, invite your family, invite your friends, invite your cousins. They want to join tonight.
Girl, put me on. If you want another best way to find business success, girl, put me on. If you need some advice that will help you stress way less, girl, put me on. If you need to feel empowered to do your best, girl, put me on. Tune into the show for the best tips you can get. Girl, put me on.
Well, we are back.
Yes, we are. We're back. We're back. And we would like to introduce on tonight Mesha Perkins, none other than Lady Mesha Perkins. Let me give you another name. Can you guess? She's a singer. I mean, a soprano. I mean, she could blow, blow, and blow. I mean, when you hear her, it sounds like the heavenlies have opened up. She's also known as Mesha Pearl, Mesha's Kitchen. She's a mom of four. She's a first lady, married to Pastor Robert Perkins, and everyone knows Pastor Rob. He's a singer, pastor, preaches like crazy. So they're just a wonderful couple. They've been married for a long, long time. So we're going to bring her on tonight, Mesha Perkins.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
Joining
girl.
us on tonight. We're going to have a great time tonight talking about health and wellness. But before we start, we're going to give our little tips on tonight. We're going to start with you, Samitris.
Well, my tips for tonight are going to be about healthy living. So, one is to hydrate. Water is the absolute essential for health and life. The next one is to move. Be consistent with exercising, it is key. Another one is to eat lean protein,
Yes.
eat natural foods. Another one is to sleep,
Yes. That's a big one.
find an outlet, and have a purpose.
Mhm.
So, those are my healthy tips for tonight.
Wow, I like that. Get rest and have a purpose.
Yes.
My two favorites. Okay. Get rest and have a purpose. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna try those things. Okay. Well, my tip tonight is to bring to you Empowerment Center of Richmond, which we are sponsoring the show on tonight. Empowerment Center of Richmond, our mission is to empower and educate people with knowledge, skills, and resources to achieve economic self sufficiency and social economic success. And on tonight, we know that we just came through COVID, and some people say COVID is gone, some people say COVID is still here, you know. But we know that we still are dealing with some of those health disparities since COVID. So, on tonight, we're talking about one of those things, which is health and wellness, how to, get your body ready for not just COVID, but some other things that are coming that, maybe not here right now, but they are coming. So we want to be equipped beforehand and not find ourselves behind or not ready. Like we seen COVID, we lost a lot of people because our bodies just wasn't in shape, or we had just different things going on. So now we have Mesha's Kitchen on tonight, and she's going to help us get our bodies ready by doing healthy things and with some nutrition tips and some good things that she's done and within her kitchen. And I can honestly say that I have tried some of her products, and
Yes.
they taste wonderful. I know when COVID was here, everybody was like, all the grocery stores, all the pharmacies was selling out of elderberry. It was something new
Yes.
that in our community that we, didn't hear of before. I'm quite sure it was out there before, but a lot of people didn't know about elderberry until COVID came on the scene, then it
Right.
was like a large boost with elderberry. And, you know, I was getting sick one time. I didn't get COVID, thank God, but I was getting a little cold during the times. And I was like, where's that elderberry? You know, and once you take it, it went right away. So I know it works. So, my first question to you, Mesha, is how did you get started with this health journey and making these wonderful products like elderberry?
So it's funny that you say that. I initially started with my family before COVID, because when I would send my children to school, which I mostly have homeschooled them, but it was one year that I did send my oldest son to school, and he kept coming home sick. I mean, it was like every other day he was coming home with something new. As soon as we got rid of one thing, it was another thing. So whether it was a cold, or the flu, or whatever, it was so many things that he would just come home coughing, and my son would get croup. Croup is something that you get from when a cold transition and the mucus is in your lungs, and it gives like a loud barky cough. And he got that all the time, and it also puts a strain on your lungs because of how you are breathing. And so it was stressing me out, and I was just looking for anything to help alleviate him from coming home sick. So a friend of mine was like, you need to get you some elderberry and some sea moss gel. And I was like, what is that? Because I used to make a tea, which I also still make. It had lemon in there. Now I switched it to lime. It has ginger. Ginger is huge for getting rid of inflammation, cough, things like that. So ginger, I would put garlic cloves in there and cinnamon, and then I would sweeten it with agave. And that is a tea that I would make for my kids. And I still do make it in accordance with my other products, because those things definitely help to alleviate the mucus, and especially at night, it's good to drink warm things. Anyway, back on topic. So I started with my products with my kids, and then all of my friends were like, well, give me some, give me some, give me some. And so I like to say that my business actually started because God told me to do it, right? I'm huge on making sure that we're listening to God and being in the right place at the right time. So before COVID even hit, the Lord said, go and buy all the elderberries you can afford. Now, mind you, I'm a stay at home mom of 4 children, right? I ain't have a whole lot of money anyway of my own, right? Because I like
Yes,
to do it by myself
yes,
rather
she
than putting
money.
another bill on my husband, right? So I bought all the elderberries that I could afford. And first of all, let's be clear. I was like, Lord, are you sure? I don't have no clients, and I can use this money for something else, because we have to be realistic about when we hear the word of the Lord. It's not always like, yeah, let me do
Mhm.
it. I was like,
Oh, yes.
I sure hope he, follows. But at the end of the day, I always trust what the Lord says. So anyway, I bought the elderberries, and then I made the syrup, and then I just I put it in the freezer so it could be available. And I'm telling you, maybe like a few days passed, and COVID hit. We didn't even see this coming, right? And so after COVID hit, everybody, my phone was ringing. I mean, so many people were on my website ordering. I sold out of everything that I had made. And so that was within the week that I had made it. So the sidebar, if you hear the Lord tell you to do something, go ahead and get on it before you miss the wave. But I was ready and prepared. Also, I did mention that my website was made. So when I purchased those products, I also had to get my website made. Well, I did it myself, but I also had to do my website, get all of my products and stuff made, like my paperwork, my little cards that I wanted to put in my packaging, boxes and things like that. Because if the Lord told me to do it, we got all of these things we got to get in order. So I was ready and available for the orders that came in because of COVID. And then I also, during that time, if I found out somebody had COVID, I would just drop products off on their porch. I would not even make them pay for it, because I knew that these products worked. And for me in my business, it's all about making sure that we are living and here for our children, here for our moms and our parents. So during that time, if I heard anybody that, in my immediate circle, or, somebody told me somebody had COVID, I would just drop it off. And every client that I have dropped off my sea moss and elderberry to did not have any residual effects of COVID, because it does eliminate the mucus from your lungs, which was what was causing the problem for everyone. The issue was that mucus was building up in the lungs, and that was causing people to be on ventilators and not being able to breathe. And so really that's why I started my company.
Wow. So let's talk about the sea moss.
Okay.
And I've tried the sea moss
Mm-hmm.
in a couple of different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
I like the strawberry, very good. So let's talk about the sea moss and the benefits of sea moss.
Okay. So sea moss supports thyroid health. It clears up respiratory systems of mucus. It improves your libido levels for guys. So if someone is looking to get pregnant, it's a great way to get that started. I am a witness personally. Right after I did one of my juice cleanses, I got pregnant with my last child, Paisley. Me and my husband both had done it. And so, just be aware of that.
Stay away from the juice cleanse.
Yes. Take other precautions if that's not your goal.
Yes.
It boosts gut health, which is huge right now, because most people don't realize that our gut causes pretty much everything that our bodies do. Like, it helps to regulate our blood pressure. It helps to regulate our our respiratory system. Our gut health is huge. So we have a lot of good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. But sea moss does help us to increase the good bacteria in our gut. It eases joint swelling, which is huge for people who have like arthritis, or if you have joint pain. A lot of times people don't realize that you're losing the membranes inside of your joints. And so it helps to lubricate those so that everything runs smoothly. It supports anemia treatment. So if you're anemic, it helps you because it has a lot of iron. It speeds up weight loss, which a lot of people love about sea moss. It soothes skin complications. Now, that's huge because a lot of the people in my family have eczema. And so it definitely helps. You can put it right on the skin. I bathe my children in it as well. Like, I add it to their baths. You know how you do an oatmeal bath? We'll do oatmeal and then we'll add sea moss in there. It definitely hydrates the skin, and it helps to alleviate the scratching, especially from small children. Adults, we know we shouldn't scratch, but children, they don't care what you think about it. They're gonna scratch that dry skin. Mm-hmm. So it definitely soothes that. It improves blood circulation. It promotes overall good health and wellness, and it boosts your energy levels. And so that, in combination with the fact that it helps with weight loss, it gives you the energy that you need to exercise, especially when you're cutting back on your nutrients. Whenever you're doing a diet, you're cutting something out. And so it adds in the vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, all of those things that you need to replenish your body to lose the weight.
Wow. So if someone wanted to take sea moss, what would be the proper way to do that, to get, the weight loss benefits? And just, I know you said with the skin weight, but what's the best way to take it on a regular basis?
So it's recommended that you take at least a tablespoon a day. I suggest for my clients who are just starting to take sea moss to take it in the morning and in the evening. So that would be 2 tablespoons a day. And then once you get it into your system and you can see things are working out and things are flowing, your stool is getting better, things like that, then you can switch to taking a tablespoon a day. But a lot of people still do the 2 tablespoons a day because it just gives you that much more energy, and it makes you feel so much better.
Wow. And can you freeze it?
Yes, you can freeze it. The good thing about it, especially I make flavored sea moss, because when I initially started making plain sea moss, people were like, "Ooh, No, I can't. I can't take it. And so my sea moss doesn't really have a fishy taste, which I've tasted a few different companies and theirs kind of has a fishy flavor, but mine doesn't. However, people still didn't want the plain. So I started making the mango and the strawberry initially because it makes it easier on the palate. I also sweeten with agave because it's a low glycemic sweetener. So those that have diabetes can still take it. But I do offer the option to not have it sweetened if you would like. But the flavored is definitely easier to take on the palate. Like you can literally just eat it off a spoon. My kids do. They always ask for more. And it's, it's worth it.
How long does the sea moss last?
Okay, so the flavored sea moss, I put them in two 8-ounce packages, as you can see on the photo. The 8 ounces, I say that it should last about 2 weeks, maybe longer, but I say 2 weeks just as a benchmark. So a 16-ounce order would get two 8-ounce packages, put one in the freezer, and then leave the one out that you take for the 2 weeks. Once that's gone, take the other one out of the freezer, and then you have 2 weeks for that one. If you get the plain sea moss can last until like it's not going to mold or anything like that. However, over time, it will start to gain more of a fishy flavor or a more potent taste. So again, with the plain 2-3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, you can get it without having that ranky taste, but it's still good to take even after that.
Wow, that's really incredible. So, tell us about Misha's Kitchen. We know that we were seeing some wonderful meals that you were making on Facebook.
Yeah.
And because you sing and you're so creative and talented, you like to act, you
Yeah.
sing, you dance, you do it all. Okay, you're
Yeah.
creative. I like to call it that. But you make it so fun for the kids. I know during some of the shows I've noticed that you would cook with the kids, Penelope.
Mhm.
So talk to us about how that got started, Misha's Kitchen, and how important it is to involve your kids with cooking.
So it began because I homeschooled my kids, like I had previously stated. I homeschooled them pretty much all of their lives. My son just went to ninth grade, and my daughter, she went to fourth grade. I did put them in school last year, but my daughter wants to come back, so we're back at it, right? So I think that one of the major things with bringing our children into the kitchen is that they learn hands-on. So in a book, you can find out how much liquid is in and out or how much liquid is in a teaspoon or a tablespoon, things like that. But practically, if you bring them into the kitchen, it helps them to memorize those things. Even for me, I'm more of a hands-on learner. I remember when they were trying to teach me what 1/4 was or 2/3, I was like, I don't get it. I
Yeah.
struggle a lot in school with that. And I wish that I had the opportunity to see these cups and, play around with them
Yeah.
to see how many equal what. It made it a lot more easy to learn. So I do bring my children into the kitchen to teach them those skills, also to help them learn to cook. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people are getting away from is cooking at home. And so, number one, it's cheaper to do, and number two, I mean, I haven't tasted better food than I cook in restaurants in a long time. So when you go out to eat, I'm like, ugh, I could have made this. I could have made this better than that. And so I want my children to have that same experience, and I want them to cook for their families. And I also believe that boys should learn how to cook, not just girls,
Oh yes.
because
Kitchen.
it helps, right?
Mhm.
When
Oh
I'm
yeah.
in the middle of doing something, if my husband could cook, which God bless him, is not his forte, it would be a blessing, right? So instead, he'll order something and he'll make it work. But I want to make sure that my son learns to cook, because I want him to be able to do that if he had to. It's a skill that we don't teach in school. I remember we used to have, did y'all used to have that in school? Like
Yeah.
a cooking class,
Yes.
or
Yep.
Home
home
economics.
economics.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, we've
One of my
gotten away
favorite
from it.
classes.
Yeah, and that's important,
Yes.
to cook something, to bake something, especially, with a lot of things that's coming down the pike, we're going to have to start
Got to start cooking.
making it ourselves. So, yeah, that's why I bring my children in the kitchen.
Wow. That's really good. I wish my son is just starting to cook a lot now. So it helps because when I'm busy, I'm like, can you make dinner tonight? You know,
Hmm.
so it helps with knowing that they do know how to cook.
Yes,
And it starts when they're young. So I think
yes.
that's a
Mhm.
wonderful benefit of, homeschooling them. And then it makes homeschooling fun.
Yeah, exactly. It does. It definitely helps the time go by, because in reality, homeschool can be whatever you make it. And I never wanted my homeschool to be like a classroom where you just sit there and do work all day long. I mean, I think that's really why I decided to homeschool, to keep them from doing that. And so it definitely helps them to learn in the place of the lesson, I guess.
Yeah.
We had planted a garden at our old house. We had a large garden, but here we've done like above, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a planter kind of thing, where we would grow things, because you don't realize how long it takes to grow vegetables until you plant them.
Yeah.
Because if something were to happen and the grocery store shut down today,
Mhm.
what we do, right? Because the life cycle on vegetables could be 30 to 45 days, until you get some fruit or vegetable from it, even longer for some things. So it's really a good skill to teach your children, but also to teach ourselves at this point, how to plant and grow something. That's something that I'm about to start doing in Misha's kitchen, talking more about planting our own food, growing our own food, even on a small scale. You can do it in an apartment. They have these bags, planter bags, that you can plant like tomatoes in, you can plant
Mhm.
potatoes in. Where if it came down to being starving to death and being like, oh well, I don't have no filet mignon, but I got these potatoes, you gonna eat them potatoes, okay?
Right.
You gonna eat them tomatoes, even if you
Right.
don't like them,
Daddy
you gonna eat them.
might eat
um
the whole bag.
yeah, exactly. Because it's necessity food. It's
Yeah.
things that you can grab and go and nourish your body and keep it moving. Not to mention sea moss gel. You can survive on sea moss gel only, because of all the nutrients in it. So if you did happen to do that, and I haven't decided to sell it in bulk, like dry, because I don't know that people want to go through the process. But if that's something somebody wants to do, they could definitely inbox me and we can chat about it. I can send them some. It's good to have on hand because it's dry and it can be rehydrated at any time. And then you can survive on that if you don't have anything planted until, I guess, it grows, right? Also, if you realize in the grocery stores, a lot of things are becoming seedless. And without seeds, you can't plant it, right? So it's a place where we have to now find seeds somewhere. You can freeze seeds, you can dry them out and use them later. Get some packs of seeds. I just admonish people to go ahead and stock up on seeds, because, like we all know, the food that they're creating does not have seeds, and so we can't create it from its own kind. So that's just something
Let's
that
stop right there, because
Mhm.
we noticed like this week that I've been seeing it all on Instagram about this
Mhm.
lab
Meat.
produced chicken
Chicken.
meat. Okay. So
Mhm.
even with the fruits and vegetables, we're starting, and for me, one of my
Mhm.
favorites is seedless grapes.
Mhm.
And then I just got an aha moment like the other day, and I was like, hmm,
It really
I'm over here
shouldn't be
eating these
seasoned.
seedless grapes. They're so good, but
You really
they
shouldn't be
are
eating
not,
seasoned food.
these are not healthy for one because they're not real. They're not real because they don't have seeds in them. And there's a reason for having a seed in a piece of fruit, because it's from the ground or where a tree, wherever. But when we start becoming so like not thinking what we're putting in our bodies, um, we wake up one day and realize why we're having this pain, why we're sick, overweight, just feeling bad, headaches, eczema, different things, and a lot
Yes.
of it is from what we're eating. And
Yes.
so we have to be intentional
Mm-hmm.
on reading labels and, really knowing what we're putting in our bodies and
Mm-hmm.
teaching our kids because
Right.
I'm, 46 and still eating seedless grapes. It didn't even dawn on me that is that real.
Yes, you're not the only one though. We all do it, right? Because
Yeah.
seeded grapes are hard to find, honestly. The same thing with seeded watermelon. It's very hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Initially we're all like, yeah, I like it seedless because I don't want to have to eat the seeds or pull
Yeah.
the seeds out. It's convenient. But again, it's not the best for us. And then we don't have anything that we can save and use if we needed to,
Yeah.
right? So, like I said, you're not the. I mean, that's across the board. Majority of people are eating seedless grapes. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it
We
just
become
is what
so
it
numb
is.
to it or normal. Like it's just like
Mhm.
normal. But
Mhm.
we have to go back to the garden, you
Right,
know, where a lot of this stuff originated from. And
right.
we have to have people that can train us and teach us, because you
Hmm.
have to be patient with the garden. I was speaking to
Yeah.
someone last month about a garden and they were saying how the squirrels come and eat up everything and they have to start all over. So they were
Yes.
trying to find something to put in the garden,
To
so
deter.
they just, yeah, stay away.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's not like it's an easy thing trying to garden,
It's
you have
not.
to work at it.
Especially
So
if you're trying to do it naturally, because
Mhm.
pesticides is another one, right?
Yes.
yes,
Most everything has pesticides because if you don't put pesticides, then the animals and the bugs and everybody's going to eat it. So a lot of times that's why they began putting the pesticides, but the pesticides are also causing things, right? I try not to like say things that are going to be
yeah,
flagged for Facebook, right?
yes,
But you got to make sure that we are paying attention to those things like pesticides. But yes, there are natural things that you can put in your garden to deter animals. There are different flowers like lavender. Um, there's another one like chamomile, things like that will deter bugs and even deers. Like deers are huge out here where I live. Deers will eat your entire garden. And then also I had a groundhog one year that just was killing all of my all of my vegetables. And so he was just eating them. And so we had to like put a gate, but then they can go under the ground and it was rabbits. It is very hard to do. But there are a lot of ways around. I say YouTube, you can YouTube anything, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who have homesteads. I would look up homesteads, how to run a garden, things like that to find tips for keeping animals and stuff out of your garden. One really good one that works for deers and things like that is if you do the garden, like I said, on your porch, then they are not going to come up on your porch to get it. And so you can get away with that. But squirrels, they're gonna get on there regardless. So you just really the best way to do it is to plant enough for the squirrels and for yourself.
oh, that makes sense, huh?
So that's what I had to start doing. Just plant enough that if they eat some, you still have some left over. And you just gotta work together. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
So going back to your Misha's Kitchen,
Hmm.
how did your business grow during the pandemic?
Uh,
And was there like a overflowing influx of clientele
yes.
from the pandemic? And how is it still that influx now, or has it like tapered off post pandemic?
Hmm. So yes, when I started my business, like I said, I started right before the pandemic, so I didn't really have anything to measure it by before the pandemic because I wasn't in business. But during COVID, it was a huge influx. I mean, I was selling out, selling out, selling out. I could barely keep things. Um, Also, excuse me, y'all. The elderberries were on back order. So it was hard to get them. So I was having to pay a lot more for them to get them in time in order to fulfill the orders because they were coming in. But I will say that it has slowed down because once COVID ended, now everybody thinks they're going to be fine. Well, not ended, it's laxed, right? So it slowed down a lot because people are still getting COVID. It has slowed down, but I wouldn't fully blame it all on COVID. I will say that I did, like I told y'all, I had my last child. And so I kind of laid back a little bit on my advertising, my marketing, and things like that because I didn't have the time to keep fulfilling those orders at the time because I had a small baby. It was a lot. I also had broken my foot. Y'all know we have gone through a lot of things.
Yes.
But I have had my normal clientele still fulfilling their orders and things like that. I do offer subscriptions where people can subscribe and get your things like monthly automatically, and so that definitely helps me to know what products I need to have on hand and to get them out on time. So yes, it has slowed down a little bit because I think also because of COVID, but mostly because I had kind of taken a break. However, I am in the process of rebranding and getting back into more of my marketing and things like that.
Yes, rebranding. We all, as ladies, we're all moms,
Mhm.
church, you know, purpose,
Yes.
all different types of things that women have on their plate.
Yes.
And sometimes when, God has called you to something and you've seen success in that area as far as your business and everything, and then it comes the time when everything is just like thrown at you and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And you're trying to
Yes.
figure this thing out,
Yes.
you trying to figure out how do I become, you know, everything to everybody and still please God and do what God
Yes.
has called me to do. So I
Yes.
think that we've all had those seasons, those moments.
Yes.
I'm in that now,
Mhm.
Um, but I would say that those are the greatest moments because when you feel like you can't do anything else, that's when God kicks in.
Yes,
And
he
when God
does.
kicks in and he begins to do something new, something fresh,
Yes.
um, even what you've experienced before, I think it's just, I like to say it's in your timeline. Then that
Yes.
means that that's just an indication of what God's have already in store for you. Because if he
Mhm.
showed it to you and allowed you to get that before, then
Mhm.
there's even greater coming. But
Yes.
sometimes he has to pull us back, and we don't like to be pulled back sometimes.
Yeah, we don't,
It's good
but
because
it's
when he
good.
pulls you back, that means
Mhm.
that it's like an arrow. The
Yes.
further that he take you back, the
Mhm.
more that you're gonna go further ahead.
Yeah.
So, I say that to say that I've been knowing you for a while now, and with all the gifts, the talents, you decorating over here, you singing over there, you mom, you sewing, you're doing all these wonderful things. And I know out of all of those things, you're like, okay, God, what is the thing?
What is the thing?
What is the thing?
That's
I
always the
mean,
thing.
that's my question. Mimi,
Yes.
is that your question?
Oh yeah. What is the
What's
Yes.
next,
thing?
Papa?
What is it?
What's
Because
next, Papa? What is the
you
thing?
you're right. I know, especially for me, and I always tell, I make a joke with people. I'm like, man, I wish I just had one talent, because then I would know
You
what
can
to
work that
do.
one talent.
It's
Yes.
It's
like,
hard when
Hmm.
you're a multitasker,
Hmm.
and
oh,
some people don't understand it. They
I'm
think
telling you,
you can just do everything.
right?
Well,
I'm telling
it's
you,
not that you want to do everything, and everybody doesn't have that gift or that anointing. But when God graces you where you can do multiple things,
Hmm.
for
yes,
that other person who can't do nothing but one thing, they look at you like you crazy. But
yeah,
when you a person that is, I call it dual gifted,
yeah,
because God just gives you in so many, and I think that's kind of being a creative, that you can
hmm,
do multiple things at the same time and it doesn't feel like it's work or it's a lot because it's just
hmm,
just who you are. But
right,
then it's hard on the other side because you don't know how to say no, and you don't know which one is the thing that God really is saying, this is
Right.
it. This is what the
Exactly.
millions is, you know. So it's
Exactly.
like you gotta go through that rebranding
Yes.
when you know, God really begins to show you what He wants to do in this season. You
Mhm.
know,
And
so
we
I'm
just started
excited.
our family YouTube channel.
Oh
It's
yeah, the
it's called We
Perkins.
Are the
We
Perkins
are the Perkins.
6. Yes. I added 6 because I wanted to distinguish from other people who are named Perkins. Amen.
Okay.
So it's We Are the Perkins 6. We are just starting. So if you go to the channel and we only have a few followers, that's okay. This is a new thing for us. And a lot of people have been telling me for years that I need to do it. I am very animated. I
Mhm.
love acting. I
Yeah.
love dancing. I love
Yeah.
singing. I
Yeah.
would My dream, okay, is to be on Broadway. Because I love all of it. You can do it all on Broadway. You can sing, you can dance, you can,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And I can be great, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I love to do. And like you said, it's like, Lord, I know you gave me all of these talents, and I know it's not just for me to, sit back here and homeschool my kids. Like, I know there's so much more, even though that's huge, right? I
Yes.
realize that homeschooling, y'all, it's getting late.
That's called it's called being a mom.
It's
Right.
getting late. I'm like, wait a minute, what is coming
It's
over me? My
called
eyes watering.
being a mom, okay? That's
Woo!
what it's
Okay.
called. Being
Like, man,
being
that's
a
definitely
woman,
somebody's
okay?
bedtime.
Right.
Misha,
Right.
how old are you now, Misha? Misha Pearl, how old are you? Over 30, 40?
Oh,
Have you
girl,
got to
I'm
40 yet?
30,
She hasn't hit
37,
40 yet.
Okay, well, see, you're not
37.
at
I'm
the 40
37.
yet. When you get to the
No.
40, you'll you like,
Yes,
okay,
I
I'm
understand.
serious,
I understand.
you know.
Listen, so I think that homeschooling my kids and having 4 children has really equipped me for a lot of the things, right? So it's taught me so many lessons. And I told my husband one time before, I said, I just feel like I'm losing time. I feel like I'm not really developing my craft, or even in like the Christian world, or like preaching and things like that. I'm not really a preacher. However, I do have something to say. And I
Mhm.
feel like, sometimes you can get into your daily thing and feel like you're missing out. But then my husband was like, no, you have more of like a David experience where you can be out here killing the bears and the lions. And
Oh
so I
yeah.
had to sit back and take account on the things that I have learned. And y'all have been around for a very long time with me, right? And so I feel like I've learned so much with self-control. When I'm from Baltimore, and back in the day I used to get a little more gutter than I should have. So I feel like with my children, they have challenged that space for me, where I've had to reevaluate my response and change how I would say certain things. And so I feel like a lot of that stuff will help me later on when I encounter people who will challenge me, or, trials and tribulations, or whatever it is, or things that come up. I feel like my response will be much better because my patience has increased, and my ability to uh, think first and act later has really increased. And so I feel like every area that God has taken me through, even though it's not exactly what I wanted to do, I feel like he's taught me so many lessons that will help me when I get there. Because, oh, honey, I'm going to get there.
That's
Listen,
right.
in this season, God is showing you where you fit.
And
Yeah.
you never know. The Perkins 6 could be on
Exactly.
BET, or
Yeah.
Tyler Perry now has BET and
Yes.
Yeah.
VH1. We never
He
know.
has a place where
Yes. Come
every
on.
part of you will fit. So, it's just a matter of you showing up. See,
Yes.
Yeah.
once we show up, it's like that's when God does what he do, and he
And
directs
it's
our
the
steps and say, okay, go this way, do this. This is the person I have you meet here, or just put the
Mhm.
show out there.
Yes.
yeah.
And
That's
you don't know how he's going to take that and who will see it. And hey, might be connected to Broadway.
Yeah.
true.
So we don't know. Sometimes we hinder our own selves because we're afraid to take the step or make a move. But God is saying, do it. Just
Yeah.
do it. Or you don't have the
Hmm.
time. You're thinking of every excuse not to do it.
Every
But
excuse.
every excuse, and
Mm-hmm.
everything comes right when you're about to do it. You get all kind of opposition, but you got to do it anyway. You got to
Yes.
keep moving, and we're excited for you and the Perkins family because we know that all of your kids are talented.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
know,
Even the baby.
dance, the baby,
Yes.
all of them, and it's just a beautiful family. So we're excited for
I
you all.
appreciate it.
Um, you know, how can they find you online if they want to order something or just follow you on Instagram, Facebook? Because you always have something funny you're talking about.
Yes, you can find me on my website for orders. It's mishakitchen.com. Yep, there on the screen, mishakitchen.com. My social media platforms, I have several, right? So, Lady Misha Pearl is my Instagram. I also do have a Misha's Kitchen Instagram and Facebook page. You can see that on the screen. But my personal pages are Lady Mesha Perkins on Instagram, Mesha Perkins on Facebook, and then We Are the Perkins 6 on all the platforms. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Come here, somebody. TikTok is We Are the Perkins 6, and my TikTok personally is Mesha Perkins.
So how many times are you all posting for We Are the Perkins, or you uploading your videos?
So, like I said, we are just embarking upon this journey, and I'm trying to figure it out because I'm exhausted. Trying to figure out, like how to post things. And so I'm really getting better at like scheduling posts. I think that's one of the things I really have to tap into. So y'all pray that I get that under my belt.
They
But
actually have where you can schedule your posts.
yes,
I have to tell you about that. So they have
yeah,
where you can actually, schedule.
redo them, have
Yeah.
them come out.
Hmm.
That's
Yep.
what I'm working on. It's just it's just getting used to something different. And so I traveled in the beginning. I was trying to post every day. I was like, I'm gonna post every day. Then it was like every other day. And because kids would be kids and you just don't get around to it. So the goal is to post at least once every other day, right? But we want to get more to posting every day. But that's something that we're going to work into our schedule.
Wow.
Right.
We're excited about that. Well, on tonight, Empowerment Center of Richmond, we're promoting Here's to Health.
Yay!
$25 gift card to Kroger.
Yes, perfect.
So if you will put in the chat Misha's Kitchen and Misha's one of her Instagram or Facebook handles or her YouTube name of her YouTube show, and then whoever this first person to get it right gets this $25 gift card to Kroger.
Woo!
Yes, we want to promote healthy
Healthy
lifestyle
lifestyle. Hmm.
and also promote what you're doing as well because we think that people will be blessed when they get sea moss, elderberry, and they get a little laughter when they visit your channels and
Yes,
your family.
and I want
So,
to also give back to the cause. And that same person who is the first one to do it, I would like to donate some elderberry and sea moss to them as well.
oh wow. Ooh, 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 ooh. Daquan, do we have a winner yet? Let us know who's the winner for tonight. Lakeisha. All right, Lakeisha, you're the winner.
Lakeisha.
You get a
Yes.
gift card and elderberry sea moss. So thank you for tuning in on tonight. This has been great, and we're excited for what God is going to do with you, your
Yes.
businesses, your family, your singing, everything about you. Just
You're a
keep allowing
multitasker.
God to be God and use you great and mightily. Thank you for joining us on Girl Put Me On. Until
Thank
next
you.
time,
Thank y'all for having me.
thank you.
God put me on. God put me on.